Hey, what's up, family? This is a short take 10. We talked about that we were going to be doing some of these shorter ones and mixing them in with some of the ones that are a little bit longer. In this particular take 10, I thought it would be cool to take a look at where, at least at one of the many intersections of where the Bible meets the zodiac. Okay, so let's go to we're going to go to Revelation, the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 6 through 9. And then we'll take a look over here on the board. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal. And in the midst of the throne, and round about the throne, were four beasts full of eyes before and behind. And the first beast was like a lion. And the second beast was like a calf. And the third beast had a face as a man. Aquarius, the water bearer, the only sign that has the face of a man. And the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. You go, okay, well, out of these 12 signs, we do see a lion, we do see a calf, we do see a man, but there's no flying eagle. The reason why we know that these are all connected is because of the 12 signs in the zodiac. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure there's quite a bit of you that do. The 12 signs are divided into three different modalities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio are called fixed signs, okay? There are also 4 mutable signs and 4 cardinal signs. And basically what that means is the energy starts out in cardinal. Cardinal is, push it out. That's Aries. The ram is the first sign, so it's cardinal fire. Okay? Mutable is where the energy goes from a cardinal state. Actually, take that back, not mutable, fixed. So we go from cardinal to fixed. Fixed is where the energy fixes itself. That's why those signs are called fixed signs. And people that are of those signs supposedly have a bit more of a fixed personality. There's also 4 mutable signs. And you can kind of see where we're going is that around this wheel, fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water. Same thing with the modality. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. So back to the eagle that's being referenced, along with 1, 2, 3. Scorpio actually has 3 different aspects in a sense. In other words, Scorpio, the lower, what we would call the lower nature, because remember, all the signs have a positive and a negative aspect, have a more evolved aspect, and a less evolved aspect depending upon where you are in your consciousness. So Scorpio, as a scorpion, represents the lower nature. And remember, on our zodiac, every sign represents a part of the anatomy, starting with Aries at the head, Taurus at the neck, Gemini at the arms and shoulders, Cancer in the breasts, Leo the heart and spine, Virgo the stomach, Libra the kidneys, Scorpio the genitals, and then Sagittarius the thighs, Capricorn is the skeleton, basically the knee caps, And where you wear your head, where you wear on your head is a cap. Capricorn represents the skeleton, skull and crossbones and all of that. So each of these has a representation, right? So Scorpio in its lower nature would be representative of the lower aspects. If someone is, and doesn't have to be a Scorpio, because you have Scorpio in your constitution as well, just in varying degrees. Scorpio represents the genitals and reproduction, right? That's the lower nature, okay? Then there's a more evolved nature of Scorpio called the eagle. And that's a Scorpio that has evolved from its lowest nature on the ground, flying in the air. It has a quote unquote eagle's view. It can see more, it can understand more, sees a bigger picture. So now the lower nature Scorpio has gone to an eagle Scorpio. And the third is the phoenix. And the phoenix, or the firebird, is the mythological bird that basically immolates itself, sets itself on fire, and then rises from its own ashes renewed. Why is that? Because Scorpio represents transformation. Out of all these signs, that's the sign that represents our ability to transform ourselves from our circumstances, from our lower into our higher. So an unevolved Scorpio may have attributes of jealousy, envy, those are the low. We all have them. We all have different aspects of the lower nature. But a higher evolved Scorpio is moving above its lower nature. So when you think of Scorpio, it's not always just a scorpion. That's the lowest of its, shall we say, stages. But the idea of the scorpion is to transform. So, and the transformation actually happens through sexual energy. Sexual energy, and we'll go into this in a lot of other details, but sexual energy is what is used for creative energy, okay? It is, you can transform sexual energy from just an act of sex to something that is basically spiritual, but we'll have to go into it. So that's why Judas, who supposedly betrayed the Christ for 30 pieces of silver, well, he was represented as Scorpio. Why was it 30 pieces of silver? Because each section of the zodiac is 30 degrees. Scorpio, or Judas, betrays the Son of God. This is in the story, this is in the mythology. And the Son of God eventually gets crucified, okay? But Scorpio was the betrayer. Well, that's one of the lower natures of Scorpio, would be to betray. So Judas was representative of our lower nature, but then after he saw that the Christ was condemned to death, he repented and then hung himself, killed himself. The operative word is repent. So in other words, there was a transformation that did take place even through the suicide of Judas, because he recognized his error, shall we say, or the errors of his ways. And that's the first step to transformation in life, is it not? Is when we acknowledge and when we can say, okay, we can look at ourselves and go, damn, I blew it there. I missed the mark. So that's what I thought was just kind of interesting, in that, it's describing, so this would be the eagle. So the eagle would be Scorpio in its more evolved state. So the Bible is basically saying, well, this is no longer the lower nature, it's the eagle. So now the eagle is more evolved, and then we go on to the phoenix, where You transform yourself, you rise from your own ashes, but it requires a transformation. And that's what, anyway, just thought that would be interesting, and we'll do more of these. But that's the story of the four beasts in Revelation, how they are the fixed signs of the zodiac. And in particular, Scorpio is the sign of transformation. Thank you.